Judge, lest ye be judged. I'm Danielle Metz.
I'm Robert Vaughn.
And this is the Danielle Metz Show. Quote, "To be left alone is the most precious thing one can ask of the modern world," stated Anthony Burgess. Or as Greta Garbo put it, "I never said I want to be alone. I only said I want to be let alone. There is all the difference." Ain't that the truth? We've always lived in the age of the busybody, but never the fodder for those nosy ne'er-do-wells have been more readily available. Social media has made immediate judgment easy for every sin, and past transgressions to the current zeitgeist live on forever. Politics and culture have turned the condemnation of those who cross these made-up lines of purity into the highest virtue. So everyone has to be in everyone else's business, because how else can you rack up those oh-so-precious virtue points, and how else can you distract from your own failings? Ayn Rand once said, "Civilization is the process of setting man free from men." We seem to be moving in the opposite direction now. Civilization is disintegrating into tribal interests where the necessity of social interaction is to compare yourself to everyone else in order to establish your identity in the societal hierarchy. Robert, whatever happened to the simple notion of live and let live?
I think it's dying, isn't it? One step forward, two steps back, it seems. The busybodiness. I went through the local town around Christmas, and there was a sign on the lawn that said, "Keep Christ in Christmas." And you've seen those signs before, but what went through my head this time was, who's stopping you? Who's stopping you? You know, why do you have to try to have other people conform to your notions, right? That's the busybodiness. And that's only a mild example, of course. The biggest busybodiness is come election time, isn't it?
Oh, God, yes.
Come election time, we elect busybodies, people who promise
Busybodies with guns, that's the worst part.
Yeah, G is for government, G is for gun. These busybodies, of course, are professional busybodies, these politicians. They promise to be busybodies, don't they? We will prevent people from smoking. We will tax you for eating fast food. We will limit the size of your Diet Coke.
Yep, it's just about to say no 16-ounce soft drinks for you, because we know better.
That's the busybodiness. But you know, I think it stems from an innate sense in the human being, because just because it takes a long time for a human child to become an adult, we're inbred with these parenting skills to tell children what to do for many years, 10, 12, 18 years, sometimes more. And I think that we can't find that defining line to say, okay, stop telling this person what to do because they're no longer a child, right? They're now an adult. You have no right or authority or business telling an adult what to do. Put aside your parenting skills or those innate maternal or paternal instincts to have others do your bidding, and just let people alone, live and let live. There's another evolutionary thing as well, and that is human beings are gregarious. They need society. We need other people. That doesn't mean that we should be socialists. It means we should cooperate voluntarily, with each other. But there's this interaction, and we're always trying to find the defining line between your behavior and the behavior of others, aren't we? That's where laws come in, and sometimes the laws project onto you like cigarette taxes or telling you not to sell liquor that you made in your bathtub, and things like that. So there's that societal thing, there's that parental thing, and I think finally there's the fact that human beings manipulate their environments, don't they? That's almost the defining characters of human beings. Like, we're not born with the stuff we need to survive and prosper. We have to manipulate our environment.
Starting with your parents.
Yes.
Starting with your parents.
Exactly. That's absolutely true. We move things about, we change things, we put stuff in our mouth, we explore, we
cry, we smile,
invent, we build dams to generate electricity. I mean, everything we do is basically conforming our environment to what we want. And when we cross the line is when we try to conform other people to do what we want.
And I think a large part of that wanting to change other people comes from a sense of insecurity. For example, the pronoun game that we're playing these days, where everybody has to announce their pronouns or respect everybody's pronouns. There is a lack of core self that seems to feed off of other people and need to control them. It's like a manipulative wife or abusive husband, where you need to control somebody else in order to validate yourself. And I think that is a lot of the conflict we're seeing now with the so-called snowflake millennial generation, where they've been so protected that they I don't think they really have a strong sense of self independent of other people's perception of them, or what they perceive as other people's perception of them.
Yeah, I can see that in that particular instance. There's definitely an insecurity to it.
Well, transgenderism. You have to identify me as a woman even though I'm a man. You know, like their identity doesn't come from within, it comes from without. And therefore they have to control the without in order to reaffirm the within.
Ayn Rand called it social metaphysics.
Yes.
Your self-worth or your existence depends on what other people think of you. There's the element of that for sure. But then I guess it just boils down to those three things: the parenting, the tribalistic nature of our society, and the fact that we have to manipulate our environment, including other people, to be secure. Not just an identity-wise self-secure, but also our security. We have to tell people, don't go firing that gun off up into the air, because those bullets just might land on my kid's head.
They go somewhere, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to stop you from carrying a pistol into church, because just the other day that came in handy, didn't it?
No kidding. I heard about that story today, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
well, not awesome. The circumstances were horrible, but the reaction, the fact that it was handled so quickly and so succinctly, and that FBI guy, and yep, that was just awesome. Great, good. I like those kind of stories.
I saw it on the internet first, and then of course I watched the 6 o'clock news on Global, and they did not even mention the fact that an armed citizen was the one to put that shooter down.
They didn't even mention it, and apparently he wasn't the only one. There was apparently several other people in the church. Everybody was just ready. It was like they knew what was going on. They were not putting up with it, and they took care of it themselves. Oh, they should have sat there and dialed 911 and waited for the cops to come.
It is Texas, after all. At least four others in the church.
What was he thinking?
At least 4 others in the church were out there like that.
Yeah, exactly.
All using their weapons rather responsibly, too.
Yep.
It wasn't a free-for-all. It was one shot to the head of that shooter, and the other people just took out their weapons and made sure that guy stayed down. And it was wonderful to see. I don't know what people have this problem with people carrying guns. But anyway, we're sort of getting off topic. Busybodiness.
That does actually do go, because that's one of the first thing they want to control is your speech. And the second thing they want to control is your ability to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Because that makes it easier for them to be busybody and meddle in your life and to tell you what sodas you can drink and can't drink. So this is why they're eroding those fundamental freedoms, because that's the only way they can control us.
Yes, well, there definitely has to be a control on some of our baser instincts, but that's where objective laws come in.
Yeah.
But the busybodiness is beyond the objective laws. It now becomes the fad of the day. You can't eat fat, you can't smoke cigarettes or take particular drugs or whatever. Those things may be good for you in the privacy of your own home, and that's all well and good, but stay out of my kitchen, stay out of my drug cabinet or whatever, or out of my liquor cabinet.
Same difference.
None of your damn business.
Well, that's the thing is and it comes from an elitist attitude that I know what's better for you than you do, and look at what I do. I'm so much more pure of heart and spirit, and I care about you so much that I'm going to control you and all the aspects of your life that I possibly can get my grubby little hands on.
Big Brother. Big Brother's aptly named.
I would have gone with Big Mother, because it's very maternalistic kind of approach to, which is why I think it's increasingly becoming like that, because we're turning into a more maternal society than a paternal society.
Yeah, Big Brother. There's other words I could use to describe busybodies that
totalitarianist.
I think we want to keep our clean lyrics thing on iTunes, so I wouldn't call them that. No, it just comes down to respect, and that's what we're lacking, a sort of maturity and respect to treat adults as adults and let them make their own mistakes and live their own lives and live and let live, as you say.
Well, like what is it in the vernacular now? You do you, let me do me.
Okay.
Like, just live and let live. You go do whatever works for you, and I'll go do whatever works for me. If the two things coincide, great. If not, we'll just go our separate ways.
Sounds good to me.
It's the best way to live your life. So as the old adage goes, judge not, because it's none of your business. Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this presentation, visit justrightmedia.org for more programming that's not right-wing, it's just right.